is cultural, because from a rural setting to come to a city, and a university like BHU is one of the front-ranking university in India, and he has his university education. Sorry, this has come to Calcutta. This is wrong. This is BHU. It will be Varanasi. Sorry. So university education was also in geography from the same department in Varanasi. Then he got a doctoral fellowship, and the doctoral fellowship worked on the urban patterns. It's very interesting. It's very interesting why he chose, why he selected his topic on urbanization in MP. That's a very interesting, story to analyze. Then he had a specialized training, that PG diploma in rural planning from the Settlement Study Center in Zal. And then he also, spent some time in Ghana, Cape Coast, where he was a part of the field work, and he was trying to work out on the regional development and planning. Now, the job profile, he started with 1956 from SB College. Then there's a Wesley College in 57. Then he joined in another college in 61. And then by 66, he shifted again. So before he started his PhD, he has actually a couple of years, is almost 10 years of experience in teaching and understanding the education system, understanding the problems in the areas, because all these colleges are in the sort of the Mopasal setting, like a town is not a city. Many of us, I think those who go after a master straight away to the PhD, we lack that experience. And here we see that after started teaching, after settling, I think starting his family life, he decided to go for a PhD. It's very significant. Significant in the sense, his commitment to the research and commitment to the academics is coming from this particular decision, that he's shifting, he's going to take a PhD and joining there, because he understood if he has to grow up, because there's a normal thing for the academician to have a PhD, and having an experience of teaching, having an experience in the, in fact, what is called that rural or the urban setting where there's a small towns. He actually came up from that one. Then what happened after he completed his PhD, 1969, he joined Agricultural University, GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology. This is entirely another thing, that he was in geography, teaching in geography, got a PhD in geography, but decided to join Agricultural University. And you may recall all that 60s was a period where India is passing through food shortage. We have the Green Revolution. In fact, MS Swaminathan and Norman Borlaug, they are all with all these, high-yielding varieties came, agricultural management came, and Green Revolution came to India. Before that, we have very food shortage, and agriculture was most important sort of, you can tell, the intervention from the government level, and we have a whole lot of agriculture universities in different parts of the country, and that has made India self-sufficient in food, the fruits which we enjoy today. A food deficit country became a food sort of a, we got the surplus, and we had no buffer. So we had these problems like, the many other situations, like a drought-like situation in some parts of the country. We never faced a famine. Perhaps many of you recall, we had the famine in the 42 or 43, that time, when there's basically a famine made by the British, where linked to the Second World War, where they took out all the sort of, the store, all the food, collected all the food items from the rural areas, and Indian several Indians of our fellow Indians, they have to suffer, and people also died. In 1960s, when we started after independence, we initially started with both agriculture and the industry, but our population growth was much higher than the agricultural growth. So we had again a food shortage situation, and 60s we faced that. By the end of the 60s, we had Green Revolution started. That was the time when Professor Tiwari, he was a young scholar, in fact, coming out from a BHU, doing a PhD in geography on urban pattern, is joining an agricultural university. A very conscious decision. When he could have gone back to the same college, he could have continued with the urbanization. But he came to the agricultural university and started working there. From there, I think he stayed there 5 years. Then he moved to the Mysore University, where there's Institute of Development Studies. They have an institute to look into the regional development planning. Then he's coming in 1976 to Madras University in the geography department. And like there's a small, the change to Osmania and came back again to Madras University and continued till his retirement. Now, why actually we are thinking that growing as an academician, first thing that why what did inspire Professor Tiwari to select his PhD topic? That why he has taken the urbanization as a PhD topic. In fact, I little bit do some research on this one, to tell you very frankly. Discussed with him and tried to find it out. The time Professor Tiwari was teaching in the MP colleges, MP Madhya Pradesh has one of the lowest urbanization, hardly 10, 11% people in the urban sector, much below the all India average. But when he is coming to the BHU, that time we have the International Geographical Union, and BHU hosted a pre-Congress international symposium on urban geography in developing countries. Perhaps this has given a, in his thought process a dimension that internationally urbanization in the developing countries is going to be an important factor. As we know today, urbanization in Asia is one of the very important things. In fact, internationally, urbanization in Asia is one of the topic to very seriously study, but it does not follow the path which is actually set by the West. Our urbanization pattern is different, the way urbanization takes place. So this particular symposium in BHU might have really, triggered some of his ideas. Because he was a student in BHU and IGU is coming there. She is already there. So when he was understanding and this correspondence is going on, that IGU is going to be in India and it is going to be in different parts of the city, for sometimes in part in Calcutta, part in Delhi, part in BHU, and many other places where the sort of a pre-Congress symposiums are being held. So he was privy to this information. So when he was selecting the topic, two ideas, I think a particular thing has worked in his mind. One, he has seen in Madhya Pradesh that from a rural setting, if you have to make a development, it has to be through the urbanization route. But urbanization is a part of the development. That's the way we try to look into it. That's the way it is being done. Because our urbanization definition of the urbanization is 75% of the male worker in non-agricultural sector. That's very important. We have the population size over the population density, but the work participation is one of the most important criteria for urbanization. If that is so, so the people's dependent on agriculture, when people will start depending on non-agricultural sector, so that is one of the things. That means if we have to develop a rural area, it has to be urban. So problems in the rural area can be addressed through urbanization. That means surplus labor from agriculture has to be shifted to non-agricultural sector. It may be industry, it may be tertiary, it may be service sector, it may be construction, any other thing. I mean, say, secondary and tertiary sector should gradually dominate. Given that scenario, so this actually weighed in his mind. And that's why he took the urbanization. Again, interestingly, he took the urbanization pattern in Madhya Pradesh as a whole state so that he understand what is the status. Because if the urban centers are considered as the centers for growth impulses or the development, then how the entire state is performing. Because we have urbanization concentrated in some pockets, like I say, in the big cities, we have, say, like in Calcutta or Mumbai, or if you look into Chennai or Delhi, that if you take out this metropolitan city population out, then you can see in the rest of the state, the urbanization pattern will come down drastically. Case of MP, it also had that also worked in his mind, that what is the urbanization pattern for the entire state, not how the urbanization has been developed in a particular city. So this is a very important thing from him. So what we considered, that one is conviction that urbanization promotes development. That is number one. Second, his rural background helps him to take that if he like to study to a good university, he has to go to an urban area. He cannot do it from his own village. So urbanization is one of the way. Third thing is that his teaching experience in the rural colleges, and also international attention to the urbanization in the developing countries. So a couple of these things put them together actually more or less convinced him that he has to do a work on urbanization. Then what happened is, after doing this study, and by the time as the agriculture became very important, so he thought that let us try to understand or try to look into it. What is really the situation in the case of what is the place of geography in the agricultural development, more than development, agricultural education in India? So he developed a course. He developed a course on crop geography and agricultural climatology. It's very interesting. Say in a university, agricultural university and technology, a geographer is developing a course on crop geography and agricultural climatology. I think we have almost very, very few people to really look into it. Is also the time, in fact, which gradually our planning commission in India, they accepted that agroclimatic zones. In fact, every state has a report on agroclimatic zones. I had the privilege and the opportunity to go through the report of the Kerala state. What I understand, that all the state government was advised by the Planning Commission, the then Planning Commission of India, now it is Niti Aayog, to prepare a agroclimatic zone report. And in Kerala, I have seen the report, and I had a discussion along with the people, those who are behind this. And 70s, in fact, was the period when our agricultural green revolution has taken place, and our thrust was in agricultural development. And we started looking into the more scientific management of the land and water. If you look into the crop geography is changing. We had irrigation started spreading. So monocropped area or single crop area are becoming double cropping. That is one sort of a thing. Second thing is the particular those who are cash crops, like say if you look into the like sugarcane. they started aiding because there's a demand, high demand for the sugar, and there's also an international market. So extending the irrigation system has also changed the cropping pattern in the state. So to understanding the crop geography becomes a very important thing. So he rightly developed a course on crop geography and then agricultural agroclimate. Perhaps agroclimate is also sometimes we mix with the what is called the microclimate. That we have a general climatic pattern that is known, that is a larger things which is controlled by the factors which is not just in a single country. But when it comes to the microclimate, then there are a lot of things which is being done in the macro level. Like orography plays an important role. The placement of a particular area, particular field, with respect to the like river, with respect to the forest, with respect to the mountain, with respect to the highland, they play a very important role. So agricultural climatology, which is again many of the agricultural university, in their catchment area, they monitor it like a rainfall temperature is being monitored, and from there based on that there is some sort of what is the crop water requirement is being determined, and the decisions are being taken. Apart from doing this one, he also produced an agricultural atlas of UP. This is very interesting. See, when I came to CES, joined in Center for Western Studies in 1979, apart from the National Atlas of India, there are two other atlases. In fact, we have looked into it. One is the Andhra Pradesh Planning Atlas, I think produced by Professor Manzoor Alam, Osmania University, and an Agricultural Atlas of UP, single-handed by Professor P.S. Tiwari. Now, Agricultural Atlas of UP is very interesting in the sense it talks about the whole lot of agricultural scenario, infrastructure, crop production, crop distribution, a whole lot of issue comes. Unfortunately, I really could not get that class because now our entire library in CES is under reorganization. So they are yet to formalize that because new buildings are coming up. Otherwise, I could have really shown that the sort of atlas which is being prepared. It is one of the very good cartographic work, very informative, and also provide lot of lessons. In fact, when we designed our resource atlas of Kerala, which we did and we brought out, I think, in 1984, we had consulted this atlas, both Andhra Pradesh Atlas, Andhra Pradesh Planning Atlas, and also National Atlas and the Agricultural Atlas prepared by Professor P.S. Tiwari. This was highly appreciated by Professor M.S. Swaminathan and Norman Borlaug. Norman Borlaug is considered father of the green revolution in the world. And of course, M.S. Swaminathan is father of the green revolution in India. I think just M.S. Swaminathan, we have the 100 years in this year. So, and then by 1976, he made a Hindi version. This is one of the important issue. Uh, Many of you may remember, or at least might have read, that the National Atlas of India, the NATMO, which we call today, in fact, is seed was germinated to prepare Hindi Atlas immediately after independence. I think it came sometimes in 1956, but it started as a project to make an Hindi Atlas for India. So local people has to know, local people has to have the idea, the farmers has to have an idea that what is this uh, really the crop or the season. And let me tell you, say very recently, a group of sort of researchers, particularly from NGO, they started in one of our district in Kerala, Wayanad. They started producing the district agricultural calendars. It's not an atlas, but showing all the crop distribution and the cropping season, and that is in the local language. So passing on the agricultural information in the local language is an important issue and which we should also look into it. Professor Tiwari, way back in 1976, he understood the necessity and also brought out a volume. This is something very significant. This is something very significant. Many of our young geographers can take a one or two lessons from these. That this is one way to reach to the larger society. Uh, Sorry. Now, what happened? So, 1974, he joined IDS Madras. In fact, I put it crossing the Bindaz. So, from the North India, he came to the South India. And Madras University Institute of Development Studies, Professor R.P. Misra was there. And it's a very, the vibrant department and vibrant school. And they were looking into the development, rural development. So there is in fact, we started that work in 70s again. By the time in from the third 5-year planning commission has started giving importance to the special plan. And the rural employment project becomes very significant. Karnataka is one of the areas, so they started working. So working on the evaluation of the pilot intensive rural employment projects in Harihar block, Chitradurga district in Karnataka. Such experiments were there, all thing around 15, yeah, 14, 15. Exactly, exact number I don't remember today. 14, 15 such district experiments are going on throughout the country. The whole idea was that if that experiment is successful, then that has to be replicated in other areas. So, what Professor Tiwari was working with Professor R.P. Misra, and also one, preparing the manual for micro level planning in drought prone areas. That is one of the important things. Second is a training program, because those sort of a drought prone area development program, the project directors, they have to be trained, and they started working. While I was really developing or working on Professor Tiwari's this biography later, I could get this Dantewala committee report. And Dantewala committee report, in fact, who actually evaluated all this project evaluation again, very specifically mentioned the ideas report that have significant policy implications in rural employment plan. In fact, when I spoke to Professor Theory, he himself was not aware about this report. So, because my own work little bit goes into rural development, so I try to keep in touch what has really happened earlier and how really we are moving in a different angle today, and what is the difference today compared to the earlier days. So I could get this report, and this report tells that the type of work which IDS was doing. So their evaluation and the way they evaluated, where there is significant policy implications, and the helping the government to take up that policy or to reorient their policy for the rural employment. It's a very important intervention, a very important intervention. So Professor Tiwari spent there again 2 years. In fact, 74, he joined there 74, he was 74, 75, 76. By 76, he started, in fact, moving from there to Madras University. Now, he joined in Madras University as a reader in 1976. Now, 1976, Professor Kumaraswamy may recall, 1976 was a very important year for Madras University. I think they started the MPhil program. Maybe, yeah. And also, there are a couple of other developments in 1976. So when Professor Tiwari joined the department is bubbling with the ideas, new ideas, new courses. It's a real sort of a what is called that nowadays a place of happening. It's a very vibrant department with new courses. With the MPhil courses started, and they started looking into the different things. Then the PhD came out. These are all there was lot many things are happening in that department, and Professor Tiwari joined there. So he started teaching, and what he's teaching? He's teaching a whole lot of subjects which come into his way. By that time, he also got his idea that he has a when he produced the address atlas, he has a complete exposure to the cartographic issue. So that's a very important thing from him. And then he actually looked into the agricultural geography there. He looked his PhD in the urban area urbanization. So he's almost covering the both sides in geography, partly in physical geography he's covering, partly social geography he's covering. And then he started teaching and he made a good name there. A dozen MPhil students he produced. There are also 4 PhD students. I specifically look into that the PhD students' themes. One is watershed management, very important. Because when he was working for the rural employment guarantee scheme, there's also subsequently in fact after the Antala committee to look into this one, by the end of 80s it came Hanumantia committee. Hanumantia committee, again government of India appointed, and they were trying to talk on the watershed management. So Professor Tiwari, one student is in watershed management. Second is Himalayan transhumance and nomadism. Third is the urban growth and the fieldwork in geography. A student is doing a PhD on fieldwork in geography. How the fieldwork is important in geography, what is really manifest, what is important, and how the fieldwork is important. That considering this as a subject for the PhD is itself a very challenging and daring decision. And he could get a student to work on that. So, what do you understand from here? That he has always a out of box thinking. Now look into it. Said he has visited 13 countries in 4 continents: Asia, Africa, North America, Europe. In 1991, he visited 5 universities in US and one university each in Netherlands and France. In 1993, he was in Japan, receiving invitation from the 8 front-ranking universities distributed in 4 countries, testify his academic standing at the international level. And also delivered lectures in various Indian universities and research institutes. One more thing, in fact, we just missed it here. That is that when he was actually from the Madras University, he went for a specialized training where he did the PhD, PG diploma in rural planning. Now, this in fact, he went in 79. So before that, he had this exposure in the IDS. He has his exposure in the agricultural university for the rural development, agricultural development. Then ITS, he was in the rural development, rural planning, and his PG diploma in also rural planning and settlement study center. There's in Israel. So there is a connection. There's a connection the way he is moving and the way he is developing himself. That's a very important thing. So, which has been actually culminated and got reflected in all his activities. Whatever he has done subsequently, and the type of, the 7 projects, what he dealt on the various topics. Then, Atlas in Tamil Nadu itself, there's a basic resource atlas, which Professor Ramesh and Professor Tiwari they together guided. Then there was a UGC sponsored project on land and water management. Then he has 3 books to his credit, 3 atlases, 2 research reports, and over 4 dozen research articles. Attended 50 seminars and all those type of things. Those of us who knew Professor Tiwari, we know that he's very unassuming. It's a very, in fact, it's very interesting. that when he was the president of Negi and he was delivering a lecture, presidential lecture, that time we had M.K. Bandyopadhyay of Calcutta University. He was my teacher. I was attending also. He didn't knew much of Professor Tiwari. And listening his lecture, he told very logically, very lucidly, and very simply, he's talking on the regional development, particularly on interlinking of rivers. So, his sort of a unassuming way we understand. So, I'll come to that point again next. Now, what actually you are seeing here, that he has traveled widely, got the ideas, assimilated them, and tried to use them. And everywhere he has a sort of an application oriented, how the geographical principles, geographical knowledge can be applied for the societal development. He's also an institution builder. He was the editor of India Geographical Journal. He was a general secretary there. He was the editor of Annals Negi. He was the president of Negi. He was also president of IIJ and also member of the editorial board, what is called that, which are both of ICSSR. We also see that how do we really assess Professor Theory as a geographer? I put a line, a geographer without any adjective. We call it the physical geographer, a human geographer, the social geographer. Professor Theory is a geographer. He has a cartographic expertise. He has done action research program. He has enough experience in the field exposure. He has a concern about the syllabus, and he think upgrading of the syllabus to suit the changing environment. That will come again. I'll talk that one a little bit more detailed. Now, say we like it or not, a geographer has to be well conversant and well and have sufficient expertise to prepare maps. Because when you try to show the spatial distribution, unless and until you try to know how the real to make it, how to show the spatial distribution, how accurate you to show it, the proper grounding in the cartography is one of the most important things. Although today with the software you can do any maps, you can, but the map will not speak. And that is the thing which I tell all my research scholars and students, that through GIS you can get a beautiful map with the color, but how the map will speak, you have to learn that. That is the cartographic knowledge. When you draw a line, what is the significance of that line? What does it differentiate? What does it speak? That's the important. And that thread has to be taken up. And that's talk about the cartographic knowledge. That's talk about the where a map get linked to the geography. That's the place where you talk about the technology is get linked with the science. That's very extremely important. So Professor Tiwari preparing atlas single-handedly. So when he is in the agricultural university, there is no cartography department. Agricultural university does not have a group of geographers or draftsmen to help him. Agricultural university is doing it single-handedly, producing an atlas. The demand of producing an atlas, those who have worked on the atlas like us, like you did the Zeus atlases or those who are in the NATMO, they know the type of things which has to go into it. So starting from there, looking into the action research program, which is geography, is extremely important. It's extremely important, and how really our syllabus should change it and cope it with in almost all areas. He worked. That's why I put Professor P.S. Tiwari is a geographer without any adjective. Now, as a geographer, I just analyze his one article, a note on enriching Indian geography. He wrote an article He's talking about we have to identify the core competence and strengthen them and to devise appropriate syllabus. Identify the core competence of the subject is extremely important because we are basically linked with various other subjects. We interface with various other subjects. But what is our core competence? Which we can claim this is the geography. And somebody tells the approach. This is the geographical approach. What is the geographical approach? To look into the spatial distribution and the relationship between the physical and the cultural world. So, where we can generate our core competence is an issue which all geographers has to think of it, and he was concerned about that. Second is he felt there's a tilt towards the human geography. Physical geography, in some areas, maybe there are some amount of a geomorphology is being taught, but there's a social, there's a soil geography, there's a plant geography, there's a climatology, there's oceanography. Teaching of these subjects are very, very, coming down, getting narrowed. So that also he feels that okay, we have to really revisit that how we're treating going on. Third things, he felt that real world problem is one of the important things where students should be groomed. Students should look into that. And then what are the employment potential of geography? So these are the things which comes from his article, a note on enriching Indian geography. Similarly, in his address, as I was telling earlier, he talked on regional development, Vision 2020. Now, of course, we are all talking about the Vision 2047, when India will be, 100 years of. And in fact, the government is talking about, we are talking about. But the regional development today, if you look into those who are aware about the sustainable regional development is being talked. We are talking about the endogenous development. We are talking about the place-based development. We are talking about what is called that regional resources and development based on regional resources. When you talk about the local level development, decentralized planning is one of the things we very, very often talk about. But local level development or indigenous development, which is being which you speak nowadays, it is basically how best we actually develop the local resources. And local resources, not just natural resources alone, also the human resources. We can develop a particular area bringing the resource from outside, but that is not the regional development. That is not the local level development. This is the one thing which he dealt in his presidential address very beautifully. He also put a point interlinking of rivers. In fact, maybe the last year, 23. In fact, I wrote an article on this on Hindu, and Professor Theory, we are discussing about that. That interlinking of a rivers is one of the things which we very often nowadays we are speaking, but we should be very cautious. We should be very cautious. There's a lot of ecological issues which come in, landscape ecological issues which come in that need to be looked very, very, what is called that analytically and objectively. In 2002, when Supreme Court put an order that all the interlinking of the rivers should be by 2016, so 2004, in his presidential address, he brought this issue. So he's aware that how in the policy these things works. That is also one of the issue he talked. Now, there are some of the things which you think in academicians' life it comes. A committee was formed by ICSSR to make a comparative study of multicultural societies of India and Russia. Project could not take off. There are many reasons why it has not been taken up. But what we lost in the process, say he was one of the members. There are only 3 members in all India level. There's a geographer, one sociologist, and one historian. But somehow the project could not take off, but we could not really see or understand how really he is looking into this sort of a multicultural society, how the geography plays a role in the cultural development, in the multicultural development, and how do we compare between compare India with Russia. So I feel it's a missed opportunity, not for him, for the society. We lost his wisdom. His wisdom we could not really, get, which we could have got through this project. A personal reflection from my side. See, I joined SES in 1979, and then he came in early 80 because he used to come for the university college here, and then so he used to came in SES. A couple of his students were also my colleagues, so we had an interaction. Then he used to discuss with the resource atlas of Kerala. We are preparing. He used to look into this one. One of the most important thing I still remember. See, I had an invitation from France to write an article on energy. They are bringing out a special volume with a energy paper, one from India, one from Brazil, one from China, and one from, I think, Africa, with most probably Kenya. I've forgotten which country. And I was really looking for the data. So I came on my way back from Calcutta to Trivandrum. I dropped in the university and I spoke to him. He immediately directed me. See, there was a seminar in the USIS, United States Educational Foundation, the office, the US consulate in Chennai, and there was a discussion on energy. I went there, I got it. So we had some discussion on the energy paper, and subsequently I wrote it how the rural energy use is going on, what sort of energy waste is happening, and what sort of energy requirement. He also came in Center for Development Studies to deliver. They used to have a international course on population and development. So he started delivering the lectures on the population. After a couple of years, they thought, okay, we will be limited to Kerala alone. So I used to deliver the same lecture which he used to give it, with the population and the development, how their linkage and how the geography comes with the. Okay. Then we met, I think, in Jaipur, that is in, I think, 1893, Negi. There, of course, in BHU and several other places. In 2011 and 2012, he came down to SES. And then, of course, last I met him also in Pune. Pune seminar also, in our Negi seminar also came. So we have, and then we talk frequently. And till I think he was now sick, he's not very well. So we could not talk to him. We could not discuss the things. But very often we discuss what are the issues coming up, what are the important things in case of geography, and how really we should move. If we look at as a human being, he's a very nice human being. He's extremely, extremely gentle and nice, very pleasant personality, a very dependable teacher to his students, as I known from his students. It's equally warm to his friends and acquaintances, easily approachable. He doesn't have an aura that you are entering, okay, you are afraid. Oh, no, no, it's very friendly. He drew examples from real life and made sure that the students understood the subject and were able to relate it with their experience. Very, very important. Very, very important. See, I remember, say, once he told when we are introducing the resource mapping in Kerala, Panchayat resource mapping in Kerala, he told, if with my advice, if a one pond is dug in a village, I will feel myself successful. So the real world, real issue, the problems of the ground level problems, the grassroots level problems, always drew his attention, and he was aware about that. To him, teaching is not a profession; it is a passion, and part of the duties of national building. That's a very important. That's a very very important. Is also a religious person. In fact, once in about 2011 seminar, I was just called him, sir, I'm going to have a seminar and you have to come. He told Sikumar, I'm just coming out from the temple, and that time you are talking about, surely I'll come there. And there was that discussion was on the research methodology and philosophy of geography in India, where all the eminent personalities in India, they were there, including Professor our Professor Dixit, who just recently passed away. The last lecture was on him. So that was a gathering which was very important gathering, and we tried to really discuss many of the issues. So he's a very religious person on that, and he believes in very simplicity. He carries his laurels with ease. You don't get an idea. That's okay. A very simple and gentle person. A very family person, enjoy his time with his family. His wife is Mrs. Malati. In fact, his daughter, Dr. Kanak Sharma, is microbiologist. His elder son, Sir Ramesh Tiwari, the mechanical engineer, lives in US. And younger son, Mr. Dinesh Tiwari, management consultant, settled in Mumbai. In fact, he now is in Mumbai. I spoke to him when he was in Mumbai. And both Mrs. Tiwari and Tiwari, they stays with his son. And in fact, we all wish him a long and enjoyable life. Thank you very much. That's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sri Kumar sir. Indeed, a very in-depth presentation of journey of Professor P.S. Tiwari sir, right from north to south as an academician. Sir, you have minutely analyzed the importance of the entire work done by Tiwari sir in the field of agriculture, cartography, agricultural atlas, rural development projects, urban systems, and so on. Thanks a lot, sir, for your efforts and dedication to make this episode a real success. God bless us all. Thank you so much, Sigmar, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
With due permission from our President, Patron Rana Pratap, sir, I would like to invite our chief guest of the session, Professor K. Kumar Swamy, sir, to please say a few words.
Yeah, thank you very much, madam. Professor Rana Pratap sir, Professor Paras Rai, Professor R.S. Yadav, Professor Noor Muhammad, Professor Vinod Kumar Bharadwaji, Professor Uza Jain, Professor Safras Bhaskar, the Chief Speaker, Professor Sri Kumar Chattopadhyay, Professor Geeta, Professor Madha Suresh, and Professor S.V. Chavan, all the distinguished geographers and sister disciplines of India and abroad. I am really happy to talk about Professor P.S. Tiwari, who is my mentor for the past 47 years in Madras University, and then even now he is living in Mumbai and Chennai, and then he advises us. Okay. Now you have taken up this the founders and makers of modern geography. The 64th episode is on Professor P.S. Tiwari. It's a lecture, online lecture series. And I am really happy to participate in this program. As Professor Chattopadhyay has pointed out, he came to Chennai, Madras University in 1976. And I joined Madras University in 1977, just after his joining as a reader in Madras University. I was a student for PG program in Madras University. Fortunately, when he joined in 1976, the Indian Geographical Society was celebrating its Golden Jubilee celebrations in Madras University, and then all the distinguished speakers from India and abroad participated, and that was a good occasion to mix with geographers and related disciplines in 1976. Then his participation in various programs and ideas, Institute of Development Studies in Mysore, refined him to teach and conduct research in regional planning, water resources management, and so many other related aspects in Madras University. He was teaching us the conceptual development of geography in India, conceptual development of geography, along with Professor from Chukwal, Professor Chukwal from University of Wisconsin. He came to Madras University as a visiting professor for one semester. He was sharing with the Professor Chukwal. It was an excellent thing. And then Professor P.S. Tiwari used to take regional planning, for one semester, and then regional analysis in other semester. So he was concentrating, as pointed out by Professor Chattopadhyay, the regional planning as his core of his interest. Then whenever the visitors come from India and abroad, I used to take them to Professor Tiwari's house or Professor Ramesh's house or both, because I was staying in the the hostel, university hostel next to the guest house, just opposite to Marina Beach. So that was a good occasion to mix with the family. Then I was associated with the Land and Water Source project of UGC, and also he was associated with the Atlas project of Tamil Nadu. So he was handling both the projects simultaneously, and we were also associated with the first one, that is Land and Water Sources. Professor Sambasivara of formerly with Madurai Kamaraj University. He was a project associate, and a couple of research fellows like Professor Ganesh, Professor Archami. We were all together, and then we shifted to Bharatas University later. Then uh, he is an ever smiling person, that human being. Never he opts for higher ambitions, not to head of the departments or something like that. We missed him for a couple of years when he moved over to Usmania University, Hyderabad. Uh, After that, we have a good connection with them. He has two desires. One is establishing GRP department in all the state universities in Tamil Nadu, state and central universities, and also at least one college, a government college in each district should have a GRP department. But he relied on me, but I could not complete this task completely because I have some influence, and then I did correctly. And every time he calls me and then asks first, what is the progress of establishing that GRP department in that particular university or that particular college and so on. This is a regular thing. Number two, his desire to establish the Indian Geographical Society's library, because never we have the volumes, continuous volumes from number 1 to 100. Now, after I am taking up as the editor of the journal for the past 20 years, it is online. It is digitized. And the previous volumes, I have digitized about 95% work is over. Only one or two volumes are missing. Otherwise, it's all over. So it means it is the only library which has 100 years of history of Indian geography. Because in volume in 1926, the first volume says what is the status of geography in India, and in every number, because earlier the Madras University, the Madras Geographical Journal has, it was published quarterly, 4 volumes. In each number, there are about 10 pages of news and notes. It narrates the history of geography in India. So that is a treasure for us. If anyone is interested in doing development of geography in India, probably he has to look at that volumes, then notes and news in this. Then apart from that, he is interested in the welfare of the geographers in general and other disciplines. Also, he is interested in supporting others. Uh, Now he is not well, but we let us pray and wish him to live long and then bless us to proceed further in various research and teaching programs. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to talk about him.
Thank you so much, Professor Kumar Swamy, sir,
Thank you, madam.
for sharing your golden experiences with Tiwari, sir, and the most important treasure that you have in the university. Thanks a lot, sir. I'm not able to trace our distinguished guest and special guest in the participant list. Professor R.S. Yadav, sir, Professor Nur Mohammad, and Professor Vinod Kumar. Therefore, I would now like to invite our guest of honor, Professor Usha Jain from Jaipur, Rajasthan, to say a few words. Professor Usha Jain, madam, please.
Namaskar. Respected dignitaries, esteemed organizers, distinguished faculty, and dear scholars. It gives me immense pleasure to join you today as a guest of honor in the lecture series of Founders and Makers of Modern Geography of India. Founders and Makers of Modern Geography of India, focusing on academic life and legacy of Professor P.S. Tiwari, making this occasion truly very special. I sincerely thank the organizers and to Professor Devendra Prasad Singh sir for inviting me to be a part of this occasion. I congratulate Dr. Shri Kumar Chattopadhyay sir for making this about delivering a special lecture on Professor P.S. Tiwari sir, making this occasion really very special. Professor Tiwari sir is undoubtedly one of such a pioneer in the field of geography. He played a fundamental role in shaping geography as a modern academic discipline in India. His work not only strengthened the intellectual framework of the subject, but also nurtured the new generation of scholars who carried forward his legacy. He is more than a teacher, he is a mentor and a pathfinder and a builder of institution. His contribution extended from academic research to inspiring young minds to thinking critically about the relationship of people and environment along with many other dimensions of the geography. I would say all the dimensions of the geography. Professor Tiwari was not only a great geographer and a pioneering academician, but also a person of remarkable humility and simplicity. I consider myself so fortunate that I had the opportunity to meet him for the first time in the Nagi conference, since he had been a very good friend of my father, Professor S.S. Dhabaria. There was already a sense of closeness and respect in my heart. Yet, when I met him in person and interacted with him, I was deeply impressed his gentle nature, his warmth, and his simplicity. Professor Tiwari was indeed not only an excellent academician, but also a very practical and down to earth human being. These qualities made him more than a scholar, they made him a true guide and an inspiring role model of all of us, for all of us. To the young scholars and researchers gathered here, I would like to say draw inspiration from Professor Tiwari's life, his dedication, academic rigor, and sense of responsibility towards the society. These qualities that each of us must be aspire to carry forward. I once again congratulate the organizers for celebrating such a remarkable personality in this lecture series. Let this event not only honor Professor Tiwari but also ignite in us the same passion and commitment that he exemplified throughout his life. I wish the lecture series a grand success. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you so much, Professor Usha Jain, madam, for sharing your honest feelings about Professor M.S. Tiwari, sir. It's very true. We too have experienced this. Thanks a lot for being there. I would now like to invite our saga observers, Professor Sabdar Ali Siraji, sir, to please say a few words. Professor Siraji, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm grateful to the organizer of this lecture series to have asked me to say something about the Professor Tiwari. What I have come to know from the presentation, he worked in agricultural geography, he worked in urban geography, and he worked in various universities as well. And obviously, he retired as a professor from Madras University. The most commendable aspect of his teaching is he worked in an agricultural university, which is obviously was very important during that time when there was food shortage, or India being the one of the largest country in terms of population need some food security issues. And he being geographer not only worked in agroclimatology and a related aspect. Similarly, I have come to know he is a very good cartographer as well. And the last part of the lecture, which I listened, he was a thorough gentleman, a religious man, and he was a good human being. It is always good. You may be a very good researcher, you be very good teacher, and everything, but to be a very good human being is the most important aspect of one's life, and I think that is commendable. Once after his death, if people are saying he is a thorough gentleman, religious man, I think that is also one of the major attribute in his personality. And I once again thankful to the organizer of this lecture series for asking me. And this is obviously a good practice. We all remember our senior geographers, and their contribution is being remembered by these lectures. And I think this tradition gets going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Sabdar Siraji, sir. You're always there as a saga observer, and your comments are really appreciable and very true. So, your presence keeps us motivated. Please keep us blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We now have with us Professor Suresh Kumar, sir. Professor Venkatesh Suresh. Sir, please say a few words.
Ma'am, should I give a vote of thanks or I have to talk about Professor PST?
No, not vote of thanks, sir.
Okay,
Your
okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Uh, dear professors, it's really a great opportunity for me to share a few thoughts on Professor P.S. Devari, sir. So whatever I want to share, my senior Professor K. Kumarswamy already revealed to this forum. I don't want to make a further elaboration. As Professor Saptar Ali sir stated and Professor Sri Kumar sir also stated, he is a role model for many of his students. I used to go to his house once in a week or fortnightly, even per month also. He used to call. So far, no professor has called scholars like us to his house, and also you'll force us to take food. You exclusively will call, you come home because we people are coming from rural area, we're taking hostel food and other hotel food, but we'll take at least once in a while in our house. So such a hospitality I never find with any other professor except Professor Diwari sir. And he's we treat almost like a Professor Archame, Ganesh Kumar Sami, all our senior scholar. We treat him as a father of our geography. Though we say in some, particularly in our department, his look also like a fatherly look. The way in which he wear dress, suit, bag, walk, talk, everything is it's not admirable. It was a pleasing what is called personality. And Professor Archame was SARS professor, PhD first student. Then, while professor was leaving to Hyderabad for taking up from reader post to professor post in Usmania University, then he changed the guide. And while he returned back, uh, I mean, Professor Arichami is submitted thesis. Otherwise, he will be a student of Professor Devari. But however, for 3 years he was working under Professor Devari sir. His work was related to agricultural development in Devaram basin. It is a very commendable research work. In those days, today we have a state-of-the-art technology, geoinformatics, and other things. In those days, it was not that much techniques, but physically they carried out such a meaningful research. And second student of Professor PhD was Vinita Hoon, who has done a transhuman study of a Himalaya mountain. So I remember because that time I was doing a postgraduate student, 82 to 84. So those days our department is just like a family. So all professors, we used to enjoy. We never cut any classes. Even sometimes Saturdays and also used to go to university for the further purposes. So as he said, I am also one of the member in Professor Diwari sir house. His son Ramesh, the elder one, done engineering in the USA. I think he came back again. He's gone back. And Dinesh, he always flying all over the world. Once in a week he comes. Once in a comes, Professor used to tell me, Professor Diwari sir used to tell me, if I ask him about Dinesh, yes, Suresh, he came to Pune in airport. I met him in airport. Again, he took a flight. He gone to abroad. So he's a very busiest person because, and I mean, his daughter, Kanago, she was married to one scientist in Trasi, land use board, I think. So I know every history of Professor Diwari family members and what they're doing and everything. And whenever Professor Diwaris are going abroad, particularly USA for 3 months, 4 months, I used to stay in his house till their arrival. So he used to give all kind of facilities to stay in his house. His house was in Alwarpet, Venus colony, and now he shifted to near Madras University, uh, another new house. But whenever he make a call, he will say, "Come home." Come home with family, or at least you come, we will have a dinner like that. But last 3 4 times he called because I cannot make a visit to his house because of some reasons. And also once I completed my PhD, then he called me for a PhD registration. At that time I joined in anonymous as I mean the Department of the Institute of Remote Sensing. Otherwise, I would have been a student of Professor Devari sir. And as Professor Sri Kumar sir stated, he's a pleasing personality. Always I can see only smiling face. I never found his angry face. He never scolded anyone. You always a positive personality. He never given any kind of a negative aspect. And one example I want to tell you. That time I was a student, Professor Ramesh. He was head of the department. He was scolding on the veranda uh, against Arichami. Then only Professor Devari intervened. No, Arusami is a good in all aspects. He's a good person. So don't scold him like this in the veranda. He's a very nice person. So always he'll defend the students. However, students are good or bad, he always he'll support students. I very rarely I found. See, I seen many professors like me or anybody for that matter. But seeing as a geographer, like Professor Sri Kumar stated and the Jafar sir underlined, no, the agriculture geographer is made a study interlinked of river. Today we are discussing. And then he, where is some 50, 60 years back itself, he brought the thought of interlinking river studies and all. So he's a really pure geographer. So apart from the professors. And I used to enjoy his handwriting. He'll write in a paper, right? If something is wrong, he'll tore it. Then he'll take another paper. So, and also I'll admire his dress sense. Though is old one, but it will look very nice. The shoe polish, without a polish, he will not come. That bag, still I remember a brown leather bag he used to bring. So I love him very much. But fortunately, I was thought that Sir will be there in this platform to hear my voice. But I think somebody told me just now he made a call during this period. I called Professor Arichami whether you know about the Sir. Then Professor Kumarsamy has told him that the Sir was not well, something fever or something. So I pray the ultimately to give him full strength and energy to recover, and also wish for speed recovery from this illness. And whenever I used to go to his house, first to Madam, Mrs. Devari Madam used to give us a laddu. Then only then they'll give a full chapati and rice and other things. So I never forgot about his hospitality and his simplicity and the knowledge. And today only I came to know through Professor Sri Kumar sir. He has traveled as Madam Sawan Madam stated, he's traveled north to south. I think the entire pan of India is covered. He shared his knowledge. Today only I came to know he's such a big person. Though I was a student, I didn't know that about his contribution to the field of geography. Today I am thankful to Professor D.P. Singh and Madam Savita Madam to bring this topic about our professor, get to know about his knowledge to the entire world of geographers. Very kind of you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Venkateshan Suresh sir. I knew your association very closely with Professor P.S. Tiwari sir, and so I requested you to say a few words.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
We will definitely pray for his fast recovery to Almighty, and we do have our entire recording of this episode, which will be sent to him so that he can listen to the presentation today. Best presentation given by Sri Kumar Chattopadhyay sir and all other speakers
Yes,
contribute.
yes, yes.
I would now like to invite Professor V.S. Phadke sir, former head Geography Department, Mumbai University, to say a few words. Professor Phadke sir, please.
Thank you very much, Savita. Although I have no personal association with Professor Tiwari, recently I met him at the University of Mumbai when he came to attend Professor Arunachalam Memorial Lecture, second Memorial Lecture. After that, I met him twice at one of the two conferences, and also when I visited University of Madras with my students on a tour. I am very happy to say that when Professor Tiwari was shaped as a geographer, that was the era of generalization, and now shifted to specialization. And therefore, in those days, people with different disciplines never used to be available, and they had to handle many subjects. And that is why he could easily migrate from one university with one specialization to another university with another specialization. And that is how I am happy to listened to Professor Chattopadhyay's lecture when he charted course from Banaras University to various other universities till he has finally landed in University of Madras. So this used to happen in the past, and that is what is happening in Professor Tiwari's journey also. What is important is not the number of PhDs that he has produced. The number doesn't say anything. What is important is that interdisciplinary nature of his PhD topics which he has guided. And that is the very important thing in the life of any particular person. Today we find that people in narrow specialization which then appear to belong in the earlier teachers who have held it means they could easily shift to other discipline at the same time keeping the base of geography intact. That I think is the most important thing which we used to find in those era geographers, which we generally do not find in today's geography. As a man, he nice been described by many of us, and he has always a smiling face. To find in my interaction with him 2-3 times in conferences. Is a very happy, peaceful life. Let us pray that he will continue to be there with us for a long time to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Phadke, sir, for associating on this platform and giving your inputs. I would now like to invite Professor Salahuddin Qureshi, sir, to please say a few words.
Thank you, Professor Jawan. Distinguished colleagues, I would like to share a few of my meetings with Professor Prem Shankar Tiwari Sahab, and I would like to begin with uh, my prayers to Almighty God to give him good health and longer life for us to be with him. Uh, as Professor Sri Kumar has spoken so many things about Professor Tiwari, and he has encompassed almost everything that one could uh, see and know about him. There is very little to speak further. Uh, Still, however, as we have been in touch with Professor Tiwari for a long time, particularly in the Nagi conferences, I would just listening to uh, the discourse of Professor Sri Kumar, wherein he has given very good information that Professor Tiwari had done his PhD in the field of urban geography, and subsequently he kept on working in the field of agricultural geography. It makes me realize that urban geography and agricultural geography are so much integrated. Apparently, they are so diagonally opposite fields, but they are integrated to each other in the sense that urban gravity is the major determinant of agricultural land use and agricultural practices. And that is what Professor Tiwari might have taken in his all writings, including a very major atlas of agriculture in Uttar Pradesh, prepared by him way back in 1973. And not only that, uh, it's still worth appreciation that Professor Tiwari had become a faculty of geography in his teenage only. When he was 19, he was lecturer in a college at Azamgarh, where he belonged to. Professor Tiwari, we have listened him many a time, and he is such a soft-spoken person, decent in his personality. Whenever we visit him in the Nagi conferences, we always feel so much comforted by his gestures and his affectionate looks at us. In fact, people like Professor Tiwari are very few in our community. I again pray Almighty God to give him a good health and still longer life. And another, in fact, aspect I would like to share with, I was inspired by his book, The Himalayan Transhumans, which is an altitudinal migration of the livestock with the seasons when in the Himalayas the shepherds migrate up the mountain slopes during the summer season and come down in the warm valleys during the winter. That's transhumance. And transhumance is also once again closely related to urban geography, which was the major of Professor Tiwari, because all end products of the village or of the transhumance ultimately find their markets in the market gravity of the urban centers. So, in fact, whether it is the villages or it is the transhuman nomads, they consume only a fraction of their products. A villager consumes only a fraction of its product, but most of it comes to the urban centers. What an integration of his major.
Sir, will you please conclude because we have many other speakers.
Thank you so much, please.
I can understand your emotions. I would request you to please pen down your memories with Professor Tiwari, sir, so that that can be included in our
Yes.
publications. I request all other members to share their memories with Professor D.P. Singh, sir, and it will be brought down. And I would request all other members to please speak in 1 or 2 minutes so that all others get chance to cover up. I would now like to invite Professor R.N. Mishra, sir, to please say a few words. Professor R.N. Mishra. Okay, Professor Premlata Singhi, Madam, Secretary, Inca, Mumbai Chapter. Premlata Singhi, Madam, please.
Madam, namaste. Thank you very much. I really feel very lucky to be part of this esteemed organization. I come to know about the Tiwari sir. I only remember he had
Sorry, just a minute. Kaneva madam, R.N. Mishra, he was speaking something. So please,
Okay.
let him
Yes.
continue.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have great regard for Professor P.C. Tiwari, sir, as the distinguished guest. I have already expressed he truly deserves every word of honor. I have also been closely associated with him on various platforms. I had the opportunity to invite him as an expert for the PhD thesis of some of my students. His expert comments proved to be very valuable for the scholars. My sincere regards to him, and I hope we continue to benefit from his expertise in the future. May God bless him with good health and happiness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor R.N. Mishra, sir. And I'm extremely sorry I didn't notice you. So I invited Professor
No
Premlata,
problem.
madam. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Professor Premlata, madam, please.
no, thank you so much. You gave me. I only would love to tell you that I did talk to Dinesh sir Tiwari, and I feel in future if I get the chance, since I am very near in Mumbai to his place, and I'm asking his son if I can come and talk to him and get something and all. So thank you very much. I'll do that.
Thank you, Premlata madam, for your kind acceptance to meet him. Thanks a lot. I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Kaveri Dabadkar madam from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Professor Kaveri madam, please.
Madam Convener, Professor Istiaq is also seen here.
Okay.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
Professor Convener, please. Professor
Yes.
Istiaq is also here. He will also express his view. Please.
Okay, please. Professor Vyas,
Professor
please.
Devendra ji, I am not very ready to talk about Professor Tiwari. Just I remember that he was an editor of the Nagi Journal and very versatile professor of geography. As many of you have already heard that he was expert in cartography. He has done his research in urban geography. He was also appointed in agriculture geography. He was having some kind of inter relationship between urban and rural. So he was a very dynamic person, and now he is not having a good health. My prayer is that he should get well soon. I pray God that he should get a very good health. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Ishtiaq, sir. I would now like to request our president of the session and patron of the episode, Professor Rana Pratap, sir, to please give his presidential remarks.
Very good evening to everyone. We are actually talking on the life and contributions of Professor P.S. Tiwari. He was always in our society, in our midst. Today we are missing him, and perhaps he is not having good health. But we all know and how Professor Chaturaj has elaborated his contributions and his excellence in agriculture geography, urban geography, and some other parts of our field. So on this occasion, so many persons, they have expressed their feelings. They are all wishing that Professor Tiwari must be in good health, must be happy, and we are praying that Almighty may extend his good health, good life. Friends, Chattopadhyay's deliberations was very nice. He elaborated everything very nicely, and that was expected from him because he was very close to him. Professor Tiwari is a very active, very helping, and always a smiling figure. Whenever we meet in the conferences or somewhere else, he was so glad, he was so nice, he was so smiling, and he was meeting. Now he is missing, and his absence in ourselves is not appreciating. I am praying to God again on behalf of you all, with you all, that God may provide him good health, sound health, and long life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Rana Pratap, sir, for your presidential remarks and your support to this episodes as a patron. We are really blessed to have you with us with all your guidance and kind support. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
would
Thank
now
you very
like,
much.
thank you, sir. I would now like to invite our intercessor and the founder of this platform, Professor D.P. Singh sir, to please share the further programs of the platform. Professor D.P. Singh sir.
Thank you, madam, very much for giving me the opportunity. I have to mention 2 3 points on this occasion. Number one, that Professor P.S. Tiwari is the man who motivated me 4.5 years earlier to have some activities in a Corona lockdown period to remember our father figures of geography in India. And according to his guidance and his motivation, we have started these episodes on the 27th of June 2021, and he delivered the inaugural lecture. And every time he was asking me for the progress and suggesting the programs and giving ideas. So today I am very much sorry that Professor Tiwari is not here with us on the virtual meeting to bless us. But I request Professor Premlata Singhe ji to go to his house because he lives nearby his residence and convey the message to Professor Tiwari, and also share the link with his family members so that Professor Tiwari um, may know the birds of Indian geography community, regards and honor which people had for him. And another request to Professor Singhe, Premlata Singhe is that please go to his house also to collect some materials which he was to give to us for the publication.
Yes, sir.
He has prepared his inaugural lecture and lecture on Professor George Kurian, which he has delivered 4.5 years earlier. And because he is not able to even talk to us on telephone, so Madam Singhe,
I'll do, sir.
I request you times and again to visit
Okay,
his
sir.
home for these two purposes. Number
Okay,
one,
sir.
to convey our regards to him and share the links and all the programs to him so that he may have satisfaction that the seed which he has sown in the form of this episode, this platform is now covering 64th episode, and this episode is devoted to him. And secondly, to collect the materials which he has prepared for ourselves.
Sir, I would like address. Address, please give me.
Madam, I have no address, but I have only telephone number, and which I have already shared to you.
Yes, sir.
So
I'll
you may
try. I will try my
so,
best.
so you may inquire into his address through telephone calls to his family member, or
Yes.
you may contact Dr. Chattopadhyay uh, whether he has his address or not.
Professor D.P. Singh, sir, I have the address. I will inform you.
Oh, so
Thank you.
sir, you please share the
Yeah,
address to
yeah.
Madam Singhe
Okay.
so that she
I
will
will,
go.
I will inform you and then you can share, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please.
And
I think Professor Premlata straight away write to Kumar Shami. Don't make it too many via media.
No, no, I will contact the central person so that he can disseminate to anyone.
And that's also correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
please,
Okay.
so
and
please
another
give me the
request,
address.
Okay.
I'll do.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
another request I have for Professor Kumaraswamy, sir, because I have already requested him to deliver a lecture on Professor A. Ramesh,
Okay, sir.
and I have requested him to deliver it on the 21st of this month. So
Okay.
please, respected Kumaraswamy sir, you confirm the
Uh,
date,
Oh,
and
Professor,
also,
Professor
um,
Devendra Singh. Professor Devendra Singh,
yes sir.
can you postpone that one another week? Because in this week on 21st, which is say from 15th to 23rd, I will be in South Africa. Okay. I like to attend Professor Ramesh lecture. So because I was very close to him. So
Okay sir,
tell
okay.
Kumar Shami to give
Sir
next week.
Kumaraswamy sir,
yes, sir.
can we fix it for 28th of September?
I
Yeah.
have no regrets, sir. I will deliver on 28th then.
Okay sir.
Okay.
So 28th of
Yeah,
September
that will be fine.
is
Yes.
being fixed for the
Yeah.
lecture on Professor A. Ramesh by
Okay, sir.
Professor Kumaraswamy.
Okay.
And lastly, I have to pay my regards to Professor Tiwari once again. And I have also to pay my obligation to people like you who have been supported our mission for a so long time. And I again hope that you all will be supporting us for the coming um, future also. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you so much, Professor D.P. Singh, sir. We are really blessed to have all these eminent geographers with us, with whose support we have been able to go through all these episodes more successfully. We need their blessings
Madam,
throughout our journey.
I missed one point that we have again lost one very senior professor of Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, Professor Ansuya Baghel, and the former head of the Department of Geography of that university, has left for her um, heavenly abode just 1 week earlier. So, before closing our today's event, we must have a condolence for her and pray the Almighty to give the noble soul a peaceful place in the heaven. So, with the permission of the chair, may I request Professor Madam Chauhan to organize the condolence.
What about thanks? Thanks, give her.
Requesting all to please stand for a moment in silence for 2 minutes to pay our homage. धन्यवाद. ओम शांति, ओम शांति, ओम शांति. May I continue further, sir? Yes. I would now like to invite Professor Venkatesh Suresh Kumar, sir, to please propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. At the outset, on behalf of participants, I thank professionally Professor D.P. Singh sir and Madam Mrs. Savan, who has given opportunity, wonderful opportunity to propose vote of thanks. I sincerely thank Professor Sri Kumar Chattopadhyay. I met him in the railway station on the invitation of Professor A. Ramesh. I do not recall the particular year. He brought Sri Kumar sir to our geography department. And we also went for dinner, I think. I cannot recall. Sir could not remember me, I hope. Anyway, if the time permits, we can share, sir, about our relationship in those days. So I thank Professor Sri Kumar sir for giving me to give the gathering the A to Z of Professor Tiwari sir. Otherwise, nobody knows about the silent work made by Professor Tiwari sir. The forum sincerely thank you, sir, for giving me elaborate work on our Professor BSc Tiwari, sir. Then followed by a Professor
Thank you very much.
Kumar Sami, who is architect of Geography Department of Bhardas University. He's a sincere professor who has made the Geography Department of Bhardas University to the world level. I sincerely thank him, sir, for narrating a Professor B.S. Devari, sir. And then I extend again thankful to Professor Rana Pratap Singh, sir, and R.N. Misra, sir, and Madam Usha Jain, and Professor Jafar Ali, sir, Professor Vinayak, Professor Salahuddin, sir, and Madam Premilada, and Istag, sir, for though there is a holiday, so you given yeah, what is called, you allocated your time to share your views about our PSC Devari, sir. I thankful to one and all. I wish you all the best in future program also. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Suresh, sir,
Thank you, ma'am.
for your warm vote of thanks to each and everyone with due respect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I would now like to request all to please stand up for our national anthem, and then we'll close our session. We all will recite. Thank. Let's start. Premlata